Next to me are two of the greatest front-wheel drive cars ever made, the 1998 Integra Type R and the 2024 Integra Type S. And today, we're gonna put them head-to-head. Under the hood of this Integra Type R is a 1.8-liter four-cylinder making 195 horsepower and 130 pound-feet of torque, with an impressive redline of 8,500 RPM. 0 to 60 happens in 6.2 seconds and the quarter mile in 14.8. This was actually the only Type R in the United States until the last generation Civic Type R. Now, compared to the GSR, they've strengthened the chassis, they've added power, and they've shaved weight. Like a McLaren, the windshield is 10% thinner to save weight. They removed power seats and even air conditioning. In fact, the only option on this car when it was new was to add back in the air conditioning. It's got double wishbone suspension, front and rear. It only weighs 2,600 pounds, so it's a handling monster. And it's also really rare, with only 3,900 being made in the US. That's rarer than an E30 M3. At the rear of the Integra Type R, we've actually got Integra stamped into the bumper, just like in the new Type S, although the Integra Type R logo is actually a sticker. We've also got a massive rear spoiler that's kind of similar in design to the new Civic Type R and about 10 times larger than the one on the Type S. Now, underneath this liftgate trunk is actually a crossbeam for additional chassis rigidity in the trunk itself. It's actually got a lot of storage space back here. All right, let's hop inside. The inside of the Integra Type R is extremely purpose-built. The bucket seats feel fantastic, and honestly, I wish they offered something like this in the Integra Type S. Now, note the difference in name, Type S versus Type R. I believe that's because Acura decided that all of their new performance vehicles, like the NSX Type S, are gonna have that Type S nomenclature. I kind of wish it was Type R. Now, the steering wheel feels great in your hands. You'll also notice that there's buttons on the steering wheel for the horn itself, which kind of reminds me of a modern day Ferrari. 5-speed manual transmission. I believe on the Japanese spec cars, we could get a titanium shift knob. They've actually added that as an option in the new Integra Type S. Something that's pretty cool about this car is the clock up here has adjustable buttons to change the time, but they're actually hidden behind this little secret trap door. I don't really understand why it's like that, to be honest. Now, the locking mechanism was a big problem with this car because a lot of people could stick a coat hanger in the window and then reach it around this lock button and then unlock the car and steal it. So stealing these Type Rs was a problem, particularly because of how tunable and how desirable the engine was as well. We've got some kind of faux carbon fiber around the instrument cluster. The speedo only goes to 150 miles an hour, but this thing isn't about top speed, it's about the driving experience, so let's take it out for a spin. Behind the wheel of the Integra Type R, and man, does this thing feel like a little go-kart. It is so much smaller on the road than the Type S. It's actually hilarious, and I love the driving position. The windshield just drops instantly away from you, and you have so much visibility, it's actually insane. It legitimately feels like you're a little bit high up in a slightly enlarged go-kart. Now, there is a lot less insulation inside this car than the new Integra Type S. You can hear everything, which I love and makes sense for a sports car. You've got more wind noise, you can hear pebbles bouncing off the chassis. But let's go ahead and roll through some gears and see what this front-wheel drive beast is all about. We've got a windy road up ahead. Oh, when that VTEC kicks in, that intake noise is crazy. Oh my gosh, this sounds so much better than the new car, it's insane. Right at about 6,200 RPM. That is incredible. This thing is awesome. That four-cylinder honestly sounds amazing. By modern standards, it's not quick by any means, but it does have some nice pull to it. And just the sensation you get, especially when that intake just opens up and screams at you, is awesome. Man, this thing is fun to drive. If you want to go around the track fast and you also want to have a more comfortable driving experience, the new Integra Type S is the car to get. But if you want a bigger smile on your face and you want a better sounding car, and perhaps potentially a rarer car, this might be the one to go for. That sounds so awesome. When you let off the gas, the overrun feels like you're in a race car with a sequential manual. Oh wow, I was not expecting to like this car as much as I am. And honestly, that's how I felt about the new Integra Type S as well. But man, I've got to give a huge thanks to my friend for letting me drive this car. She's actually putting on a show called Festival of Automobiles coming up in next month. So I've got a link in the description below to that event. There's going to be a ton of epic cars coming out to it. So show some love and show up to the event because it's going to be a good time. And I will be there as well. A couple more pulls in this thing, and then let's go check out the new car and see what it's like to drive in comparison. That is absolutely awesome. Now we are behind the wheel of the 2024 Integra Type S. And this thing pulls a lot harder. We've got a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder making 320 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60 in 5 seconds, and a brilliant 6-speed manual transmission. Man, the levels of grip this has is really, really impressive. Now, the engine doesn't sound nearly as good. The 4-cylinder in the Integra Type R was incredible in the upper RPM range. This thing redlines at 7,000 RPM. You still had 1,500 to go with that throaty VTEC noise in the 98 Integra Type R. But because of that turbocharger, that mid-range torque, the car feels twice as fast, 3 times as fast when you're in the middle of that RPM range. I do wish there was something you could do to this engine to make it sound anything near as good as that car. Now, it's a lot more isolated from the road. This car is incredibly capable as a performance vehicle, but it doesn't feel as crazy because you have that extra level of insulation. Now, they have removed insulation as compared to the normal Integra, but it's nothing compared to the sound you hear, the rocks banging off, the wind noise in the 98 Type R. Now that's why this car is a fantastic daily drivable sports car, and the Integra Type R is not. Whereas you could drive this thing every day and then take it in the canyons and take it on the track. That car, I think you'd start to get a little bit annoyed if you were driving it every single day. It's also a 4-door car versus a 2-door. You've got a heck of a lot more space in this and can fit people in the back that actually have legs or are above 4'5". Sitting in the back of that Type R would be a bit of a struggle. So it really depends what type of experience you're looking for, what type of car you're looking for, especially because a clean Type R, they're starting to get really expensive, starting to push to the level of this car is as a 26-year newer vehicle, and that'll probably continue to go up. If you're looking for something that's incredibly special to drive on occasion, and not to say this car won't put a huge smile on your face, but it almost takes it to a little bit higher level of putting a smile on your face, particularly because of that engine note, that Type R is honestly the ticket. But if you're looking for something that's fun every single day of the week and that you can actually use as a car and not just a weekend toy, then they've absolutely knocked it out of the park with this Integra Type S. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you next video.